Hey guys, today I am going to talk about how easy is it for Logan Paul to win a defamation lawsuit, a libel, you painted my character in a bad way. It all is kind of the same idea where libel, slander, and so on. You said things about me that defamed my character. So that seems to be a lot of Logan Paul fans. They believe that is what Logan Paul is setting up to do. And they believe that Coffeezilla did not have evidence that Logan Paul engaged in the crypto zoo rug pull. So let me begin by saying that when you are suing, you are the plaintiff. So the person who sues Logan would be the plaintiff. The defendant would be Coffeezilla. So Coffeezilla, as the defendant, does not have to prove anything. If it is a stalemate and nothing is proven, nothing is shown, then Coffeezilla will win because the defendant does not have burden of proof. We'll get to the defense of truth a little later. So Logan Paul would have to prove that, hey, Coffeezilla acted in malice. So Logan Paul, number one, he is a public figure. There are two types of figures, private and public. A public figure does not have as much protection against defamation of character, libel, slander as a private figure. And obviously, for obvious reasons, we know that Logan Paul, given the size of his YouTube channel, given news coverage, and he's even been on TMZ, he clearly is a public figure. So he has less defense, he has less protection under the defamation and slander than a person at home who doesn't really have a YouTube channel and may not be covered by the media or even by anyone on YouTube. So as a public figure, it is going to be very difficult for him to prove that you have an additional you have to prove with malice. So with malice means that Coffeezilla, with ill will, ill intentions. The definition of malice is basically, hey, I'm going to do it to spite you. It's the common definition of malice. The legal definition isn't that much different from what you think of malice would be. It is spite. It is even hate. So that Coffeezilla hates Logan Paul and in the past has demeaned him, has shown that he is not a fan of Logan's and that he's been critical of Logan in unfair ways in the past. So because Logan Paul is a public figure, because he's the plaintiff, he has a burden of proof. Because he's a public figure, he has a larger burden of proof than he would if he was a private figure, which most times you think about libel and slander in cases that the plaintiff wins, it is because the guy's a private figure and it's his private life. So back to the claims of defamation of character and so on, and if it is specifically to crypto zoo, one of the defenses that Coffeezilla can have is the truth. Now, the truth is a affirmative defense. So Coffeezilla in something called discovery. So it's also a process. So Logan Paul sues. He goes to court, he sues. They fight over the venue. That's the first fight that happens, is where is the court that we choose. After the venue is determined, then Logan Paul has complaints and so on, and maybe he has discovery for Coffeezilla. Coffeezilla likewise can countersue at that point or ask for discovery of Logan Paul, including all text messages, emails, any phone calls that were recorded on their end, any of this stuff to determine if the defense is the truth. And the defense is, before the Constitution was made, I believe Alexander Hamilton, that was how old this is, he was a lawyer. People were suing each other for libel and slander all the time and getting away with it until that case. I forget what the case's name was, but I'm pretty sure it's before the Constitution of America. And at that court, they said the truth is a defense against libel and slander. But the truth is an affirmative defense, right? And to get to the truth, you have to get the discovery, which means the cell phone records, the text messages, that means the emails, anything from these individuals, from Jeff relating to CryptoZoo. Jeff, Crypto King, Jake, Logan Paul, obviously, Eddie Abanaz, and the developer. So you would have access to all that information. It would have to be, if it was not provided, and the court asked it, it has to be. It would be needed to provide the defense of truth, and you have to give Coffeezilla that ability to defend himself. Now, if the court case continues, the reason that I talk about the Gawker case, which is not the same as this case, I'm just talking about the process and the length of a case for defamation, libel, and slander. There might be a lot of motions to dismiss, motions for this, motions for that, and so we're slugging through the thing. At the end of the day, a judge or a jury will have to determine a few things. Can Logan Paul prove his case that he is a public figure, he was slandered, libel, his character got defamed, and there was some malice involved, meaning that there was some ill will, there was some extra intent. Intent is, if you think about criminal, why so many people plead manslaughter is intent is really difficult to prove. Even in murder cases, right? Intent is, it's hard for you to say what somebody else is feeling. And that's intent or thinking. Very difficult to prove. And this is why many cases in slander, libel, defamation of character, they never get to this point because they settle out, or likely no one brings up the lawsuit because it's kind of a waste of time to prove intent and that you have malicious intent. Difficult to do. Okay, and let's say if Logan Paul proves it. Again, I think it's one in a mill. He then has to prove damages. Damages in this type can be punitive, but he would also need to hopefully show, on his side, that, oh, my reputation in this. But if your reputation already is Logan Paul's reputation, then what are the real damages that you could possibly prove? And how would you prove loss of income, loss of opportunity, loss of all this stuff when you yourself were canceled due to the forest situation? Like, it's not like Logan Paul has a great reputation to begin with, right? I mean, he was canceled. There's the idea of a redemption arc and so on and so forth. But, I mean, okay, that's great, Logan, but that's still what you've done in the past. You can't erase it. You can't erase what you've done in the past, which has been very, very bad. So now they have to prove damages, which is itself insanely difficult to prove in this type of case. And then the defense comes in. Hey, I was telling the truth. Look at this text message. Look at this text message. Look at this. Look at this. These are text messages from you, Logan. So the truth will be in the text messages. Whether or not Logan was participating or wanted to participate before the whole RunRex got pulled from them. And in my feeling, when you associate yourself with Jake, the scammer, with Z, the scammer, and these are people you have identified as scammers yourself, you have no one to blame but you. So when a judge or jury looks at this and they look at your past discretions, if you will, I don't think you can win this case, Logan Paul, because A, the damages are incredibly difficult to prove for Logan Paul because they're based on his reputation, and the redemption arc is only an arc. It's not the main story. It's like an anime thing. It's a filler. It's a filler until we get to the good part. And on top of all this, and probably the most crazy thing that I think about right now, and how difficult, if I was Logan's lawyer, I would just tell him, Logan, no, we can't do this. There's like just too many hurdles that we had to get. We have to turn over all of our text messages and emails, and they might have some bad stuff involved, man. There might be some really crazy stuff that we're saying, because right now we have somewhat of a connection of emails from Jake, because we have Jake and the developer Z giving us evidence and going on, recording and saying things, We still don't have Eddie's part of it, and we don't have Jeff, your manager. Like, imagine emails from Logan to Jeff. We would assume they would be more honest, and they would actually tell us what actually the idea of CryptoZoo was about, right? Because that's his manager. So in my opinion, it would open up, many times people do not actually pursue, they threaten, a lot of people threaten to sue, but the reason the majority of people don't actually sue for libel, slander, defamation, and character is it opens up the question of what is your character? And that can be a devastating, that could be very bad. And of course, maybe it's a public trial, maybe they keep it private, but if it is public and it is consumed by the media, there are probably things in Logan Paul's text messages that would come out later, maybe even unrelated to this, that he doesn't want made public. So when you say you have defamed my character, then the question is, okay, show me your character. And that can end up very poorly if you have bad character. Hi guys.